It's an honor to talk to you. I love this film. My wife and I saw it yesterday. We were like in tears during this film because the emotional core of it, on top of the action, just blew us away. So it's an honor to speak with you, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You put a tweet out recently that really kind of affected me about showing your parents the Chinese language poster of the film.
Yeah.
But I liked what you said because you said they were finally proud of me when they saw that. I was wondering,
Mhm.
like, can you elaborate on that and what that really did mean to your parents and kind of the idea of that?
Yeah, I think it's a sense that, I mean, look, I'm sure there was like a little bit of facetiousness involved. I'm sure my parents were proud of me before, but I think there's something really amazing about being able to show them something in their mother tongue and their home language that really just cements everything. It was like when I was first announced at Comic-Con. I think there was still I told my parents I got the role and they were like, "Great. Like I don't understand." And then it wasn't until they saw the news reported on Chinese media that they were like, "Oh, this is a big deal." Which I totally get. Like it's even though I think they consider both Canada and China equally their home. I think there always is going to be an affinity for the environment that you grew up in and the language that you grew up speaking, and there's just something about seeing it reported in that way made them just feel the gravity of what was happening, which was pretty incredible.
I know you've talked a lot about the 2018 tweet, obviously, where you're saying, let's talk about this role. And I'm not going to ask
Mhm.
you because I know Kevin Feige said he never saw the tweet initially. But my question is, when you hit tweet on
Uh,
that, when did you realize that it was starting to gain actual traction? That like, and was there a moment where it was solidified for you that it really was going to become true?
um, I hit the tweet button and then I completely forgot about it, to be honest,
Wow.
until after I was cast. Because I just didn't even know what I was thinking. I was basically tweeting like, would I like to win $1 million in the lottery? Yes, I would love to win $1 million in the lottery. Are we gonna talk or what? Like it was that level of like it wasn't like I'm gonna do this world, like I'm manifesting it into the universe, man, and I'm planning it all out and it's all gonna happen exactly the way that I say. Like I was just like, yeah, would be great.
That's
Give me a
incredible.
job, sure, why not? And then after, obviously I got the call from Kevin and I went to Comic-Con and it was such an incredible moment and like my nerves are running so high. Somebody tweeted at me, "Hey, did you see that you tweeted this like 7 months ago?" And I read it and I was like, "Oh my God, I did." It really just goes to show you how much I remember of what I actually tweeted. So, um, I mean, it's a weird platform, man. It's really there for your thoughts in the moment, and then you just kind of, especially when you tweet as much as I do, you just can't keep track of it all.
Hypothetically, your character says in the film that he's a fan of Wong when and that's a really cool moment. Like the character said that. I was wondering hypothetically, and since you're being introduced at this point in the
Mhm.
MCU, if you could see Shang-Chi meet Tony Stark or meet Steve Rogers or
Mhm.
have met them, what do you think his reaction or interaction would have been with them?
I think pretty much the same as when he met Wong. I think these are Earth's mightiest heroes, and I think he's never really thought of himself in that way. So I think it would just be this kind of like, whoa, this like reverence, maybe this like speechlessness. I mean, that's certainly what I would feel if I had met any one of the MCU actors in real life, which I got a chance to do at Comic Con, and I was very much that person of just like, oh, hi, just not really. I was
Yeah.
wearing like 29.99 Zara pants, and there was like Angelina Jolie like 7 feet away from me, and she was Angelina Jolie, and I was like, like, how are we in the same place right now? This doesn't make any sense.
They're giving me the rap. I had so much stuff I wanted to ask you
I'm
that I
so
wanted to.
sorry, man.
No, no, no. I just want to say congratulations to you. Next time I talk to you, I have so much I want to get into with you. I just want to say congratulations. This movie meant a lot to me,
Oh,
and
thank you,
you were
thank you. I mean,
incredible.
it's such a coming of age story that I think will resonate with so many different audiences across different backgrounds, and I'm just, yeah, as you are, I'm excited for the world to react to it.
Well, congratulations to you. Pleasure meeting you. Have a wonderful day and stay safe, sir.
Thanks, man. You too.
One of the things I really love about the film is the way you balance score and soundtrack. You have this incredible, beautiful score, and then like once we get kind of towards more the modern era, you have this incredible soundtrack that pops in, even when he's doing his push-ups or even during some of the action scenes. Can you talk specifically about that balance as a director and kind of narratively what you want to put across when you have a score versus a soundtrack in a scene?
Thank you for noticing that. I've worked with my composer since my very first movie.
Joel, right?
Yeah, Joel P. West, and he took a lot of care and put a lot of detail and research into creating this score, which I find really, really beautiful. And if you listen to the score closely, there's these themes that are pretty, they're subtle in there, but they are really helping us tell the story and track the emotional journey of these characters. And that mixed with the soundtrack, which we will be announcing more clearly what the details of the process of making this album, which is all original music and all some really incredible Asian and Asian American artists that we're introducing. But that interplay back and forth between that music had to be cohesive and had to help tell the story, and I'm really happy where it landed.
I want to geek out with you about Bill Pope because I think he's one of the greatest DPs of all time, and I wanted to talk to you about the collaboration in terms of having these incredible oneers in your fight scenes that allowed us to see the action versus all these quick cuts sometimes where you actually feel the choreography, you're immersed in it. And also, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time I've ever seen him credited as William Pope versus Bill Pope in a film. And I was wondering if that was something that was discussed with you at all.
No, it wasn't discussed with me. That's Bill. That's just Bill.
Okay.
Bill loves to change things up. Bill is a really unique talent in so many ways. He actually has worked with Brad Allen, the head of our stunt team, before on some of my favorite movies, along under Edgar Wright and
Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim's one of my faves, and so for them to get back together and create these sequences was really a joy to be a part of. When you are able to hang the camera back and allow the stunt work to play out, it requires really good stunt performers and really good choreographers. So, and for those two things to happen, Bill wouldn't be able to do that if we didn't have the incredible stunt team that we did.
There's a great scene, and I won't say what happens or who says it, but a character talks about seeing a film for the first time in theaters and how this film kind of created this journey to make this person want to become an actor. And there was a specific scene that this person saw that was like, oh my gosh, like I have to do that. And I know the scene's kind of played for laughs a little bit, but I was curious, do you have a moment that you remember sitting in a theater, seeing a specific scene and or movie that triggered that artistry in you?
Inner Space was one of the first movies that I watched in a theater, and it felt like my brain exploded. I was too young to understand what was real and what wasn't. And I thought that they had figured out how to put a camera into the human body and fly around in a little spaceship. And it was so expanding for my mind, growing up on a little island in the middle of the Pacific. It was like watching magic on screen. And that was when I became really, I don't want to say addicted because that sounds negative, but I became obsessed with going into the theater and watching movies in a theater. There was something about sitting in that room with the best sound and the best version of a film, and just taking a break from everything outside to focus on a story and to see characters with who may not look like me, who come from different backgrounds as me, and realize that I'm connected to them in some way. Their emotional journey matches mine, and that was something that was really integral to my upbringing and my worldview, growing up on an island in Hawaii. And I hope that people get a little taste of that when they watch this movie.
Yeah, well, I felt your voice during this entire film, which is really a big deal considering how massive this film is. So congratulations to you. You made it a wonderful, wonderful film that has a great heart to it, but it also is just an incredible action film. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
What I really loved about the film was obviously the chemistry between you and Simu was absolutely incredible. And as the film goes throughout, your arc, everything about the film is incredible. But one thing I loved was going into Simu's room as a child, and a childhood room, and you see like posters on his. What movie posters or music posters did you have on your walls growing up?
Oh wow, I had a lot. I had this movie called Saving Face, a poster of that. I had like I don't even know how to pronounce his name, Modigliani poster, and it was from the Met. And Good Charlotte. Was a big Limp Bizkit fan.
Oh, Limp Bizkit's amazing. Have you seen them live? Have you seen Limp Bizkit live?
I have not seen Limp Bizkit live. No.
Oh,
have you?
Yeah, oh yeah, I seen them live.
Yeah, like Nookie in the Nookie times.
Oh, I didn't see them in the Nookie times. I saw them later on when they came back. My favorite scene in the film, outside of just pure action, was this moment when Tony's character essentially asks you what your Chinese name is. And it's a really powerful scene. And I wanted you to speak on that, what that scene meant to you, because it's really about embracing who you are, embracing your family. And I wanted to know what that scene meant to you, particularly in kind of like filming that scene. I thought it was a brilliant sequence.
Sure. Yeah. I think, there's a dilemma, I think, with Katie and just kind of her own sense of identity and the pressures of her parents versus the pressures of the world and being Asian American. It really was like a perfect metaphor for what happens always to Asian Americans, which is like, someone being like, well, you don't forget, and so that scene was very powerful. And it does speak a lot to what Katie's, I think, going throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, and there's this concept early on in the film about your character and Simu's character kind of running from adulthood, and the idea of not embracing becoming an adult. I was curious, do you have a moment in your life where you felt like you had to grow up really quickly and kind of embrace being an adult and kind of like using your full potential? Do you know that moment for yourself?
I mean, I feel like it's just probably like having to throw up, for the first time, and off of like at prom, and you just really have to get it together, just pull it together. Well, I feel like growing up in New York, probably growing up fast, you have to deal with, all kinds of things.
The driving that you do in the film is incredible. Like there's two sequences, particularly the bus and obviously going through the trees and everything. And I wanted to know, in terms of like when you have to drive as a character, I know that there's effects and there's ways they make the film look like you're driving. I wonder, is there an art form to giving it like the realistic way you do it, the way you would turn the wheel, the way you would add pressure to those turns?
Well, yeah, I mean, for that's why when I was doing the driving scenes, I went to a race course and did a bunch of stuff there, because they want you to be able to mimic those actions. So you really have to feel where your body is being thrown, like what the car is doing. And once you get a hang of it, it's literally just that, just trying to do it like you're really doing it.
Well, you're awesome. Congratulations to you. You were phenomenal in the film. This film was brilliant. My wife and I watched it together and she was in tears and we just really enjoyed it. So congratulations to you, and hope you're staying safe, and good to see you again.
Yeah, you too. Bye, Kevin.
I wanted to ask you, just in terms of filmmaking, with the arm, I know you'll probably wear a green sleeve or a blue sleeve or some type of like element to get that to go away. But I wonder, in terms of like the way you hold your arm, and kind of like the weight you would give it and the way you would kind of maneuver it, how that played into kind of it not being there, and kind of how that was filmed.
So you were totally right with that glove. They put a green glove over my hand and it was basically CGI. And it was weird for me because I'm used to use both of my hands equally. But right now, for this character, we were just focusing on the right hand because that was the interesting hand, his weapon. So I basically didn't use my left hand at all. It was just, for stability and control the distance. And it was weird because, me as a fighter, I would always be used to close my fist and have my arm like this. But this time around, I always kept it like a real blade. I tried really to envision and really try to connect to the character as I would have a blade as in forearm. So especially in the first days, that was hard to manage because I had to change my fighting style, and there were a lot of changes in my movement as well. But once you adapt, and once you connect even better to the role, it was fluent and it all worked out in the end.
You mentioned changing your fighting style, and that kind of piqued my interest a little bit because in terms of your own life, you're a fighter, so you have your own particular style, and then you play a character who has a different style. And you can even look at Creed 2, and there's just different ways that fighting happens. How hard is it to get your mind out of your own fighting style and not be Florian, but be the character, because you've trained so much to fight the way you do? How hard is that to kind of like balance that out in your mind, that you're fighting as a character, not as Florian?
Super hard, because the fighting and all the training that I did my whole life became a habit. And it yourself, once you create a habit, it's so hard to get rid of it. So that's why I was saying, like, usually if you try to create a new habit or get rid of an old one, it takes time, but you don't have that time. So you need to be quick, and pretty much you have maybe, if you're lucky, you have weeks. So you have to be quick, and that's from a fighting perspective, we also in fighting use the term fighting IQ. Some fighters are better with that. Some fighters are worse with that. But, it's about adapting. Usually we talk about fight IQs, and you adapt to your opponent's style. But you can also adapt a different style and make it your own. And that's what I basically did. But it took me some time. It was hard. But, we delivered.
That's incredible. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. You were phenomenal in the film. Congratulations. That bus fight will go down as one of the best fight scenes I've ever seen. So congratulations on that. And hope you're staying safe, and hope to see you in person next time for an interview.
Thank you so much, my man. Peace.
Thanks, Florian. Have a good day, buddy.